Let your sister have the future. My stepfather mocked when he saw my 1490 SAT score. My mom tore up my scholarship letters in front of me. 6 months later, on Christmas Eve, during dinner, the lawyer called and their hands started shaking. What do you mean? It's all in her name. My name is Madison Harper. And until that moment I stayed quiet. The red candles flickered across the dining table. Snow fell softly outside, and the Christmas lights glowed against our suburban home in Naperville, Illinois. From the outside, we looked like the perfect American family. A Chevy Suburban in the driveway, a neatly trimmed lawn every Saturday morning, smiling photos on Facebook captioned "Blessed." But everyone at that table knew I was the extra one. My stepfather, Richard Collins, always said the real future of the family was my stepsister, Emily. She was a high school cheerleader, had thousands of Instagram followers, and was my mom's pride and joy. Me. I was the girl who studied quietly in the corner of the Naperville Public Library, the girl with big dreams and a small voice inside that house. When my SAT score came in, 1490, I thought maybe everything would change. My hands trembled with excitement as I opened the envelope. I showed my mom. Richard laughed. 1,490? Great. Now let your sister have the future. We're saving the college fund for Emily. You can get a job. It builds character. My mom didn't argue. She simply took my scholarship letters and ripped them apart in front of me. The pieces fell across the kitchen tile floor. That was the day I understood I was on my own. That night I stopped crying. I decided if they were going to block my path, I would build my own. I started quietly. I met with my school counselor. I filled out applications online. I worked part-time at a coffee shop near the Chicago Riverwalk and freelanced at night. I created a new email account no one knew about. 2 months later, an email arrived. We are pleased to inform you. I had been accepted to Columbia University in New York City, with a full scholarship. Tuition. Housing. Everything covered. I told no one. Then I took another step. My late grandfather, who had lived in Evanston, Illinois, had created a trust in my name. Richard always claimed it had been used for family expenses. But I checked DuPage County Public Records myself. The trust was still there. And legally, when I turned 18, it became entirely mine. I contacted a lawyer, Ms. Eleanor Parker in Chicago. She reviewed the documents and looked at me carefully. Madison, she said, you have no idea what you're sitting on. It wasn't just a few $1,000s. My grandfather had invested in a small rental property in downtown Chicago that had grown significantly in value over the years. Enough to cover my entire education, and then some. And legally, Richard and my mom had no claim to it. Can we wait? I asked Miss Parker. Wait for what? Christmas Eve. 6 months later, we were back at that same table in Naperville. Emily was talking about her new life at the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor. Richard nodded proudly. My mom carved the turkey. Snow fell outside while classic Christmas music played softly in the background. Then the phone rang. Richard answered. Hello? Yes, this is Richard Collins. His face drained of color. What do you mean? It's all in her name. My mom froze. What happened? The trust, the property, legally it's mine, I said calmly. The room went silent. I folded my napkin neatly. Not just the trust. Grandpa's Chicago property too. The moment I turned 18, everything transferred automatically into my control. My mom's eyes filled with tears. Why didn't you tell us? When you tore up my scholarship letters, I said softly, that's when I learned I had to protect my own future. Emily scoffed. So what now? You're just leaving. I already did, I replied. My dorm is on the Upper West Side in Manhattan. I move next week. Full scholarship. Richard slammed his hand against the table. You're embarrassing this family. I smiled slightly. No. I'm just taking what was always mine. Then I played my final card. And the second mortgage you took out using Grandpa's property as collateral? That was illegal. Miss Parker has already filed notice. You'll be receiving official paperwork soon. My mom's hands started shaking. Madison, you wouldn't. I'm not making you homeless, I said evenly. I'm teaching you that burning someone's dreams comes with a price. I put on my coat. Cold Naperville air rushed in as I opened the door. They were still sitting there, The same people who always underestimated me. You said, let your sister have the future, I reminded them. I took my own. And I walked out. A few weeks later, I walked across Columbia's campus in Manhattan. Central Park was covered in snow. For the first time in my life, I felt like I belonged somewhere. Not long after, Miss Parker emailed me. Richard had rushed into a settlement. The Naperville house was now legally mine. I rented it out and reinvested the income. My mom texted me once, please talk to us. I didn't reply. Because revenge isn't loud. It's calculated, controlled, quiet. Christmas Eve wasn't just a phone call. It was an announcement. Madison Harper was no longer the girl whose dreams were torn into pieces on a kitchen floor. I was the girl who turned those pieces into an empire.